Hi, I'm Kim. You're watching Kim Wilson TV. My channel is dedicated to helping victims of narcissistic abuse get free and stay free. Over the months that we've been together here at Kim Wilson TV, there have been many requests to do a video regarding the narcissists and money, their manipulation and control of money, and how do you get these fucks to pay you back? And I want to talk about that today. Money is going to be of the absolute utmost importance to the narcissist, being absolute gluttons for anything they can get their hands on. Of course, they realize money can get them things, so they're going to be very determined to get money. So believe me when I say that when you are targeted, your income or earning potential or savings or holdings were definitely a factor to them. Now, there's going to be two kinds of money narcs. One's going to be the narc with money. Quite frequently, the narc with money is once they've captured you, they're going to start to chip away and possibly get you to give up your career. Now, this may be presented as their generosity and their desire to take care of you and to have you home because, of course, they love you so much. What they're actually trying to do, of course, is incapacitate you, trap you, and make you dependent on them because this gives them a real surge of power. Now, in my case, I know nothing about this type of narc because that's not the narc Trevor was. Trevor and I worked together. I had tremendously higher earning capabilities than he did and did make considerably more money than him at work. So Trevor saw me as a source of money, and he most certainly manipulated that from the very, very beginning. Now, I'll be straight up honest. I've had fairly good earning potential throughout my lifetime. I've had basically the same career my whole life, and I have worked contract sales, high-end sales for realtors, big resort property developers, and these kinds of things. So, of course, as an opportunity would come available, I always thought it was a great opportunity for the boys and I to get out there and see some of the world. So, yeah, we have traveled all over the continent, and I have worked some fairly good real estate contracts as a lead salesperson. And I do have and have always had a fairly high earning potential. Now, Trevor has been that kind of guy, and I've never dated a guy like this before who didn't have a fairly stable career. And that's just because when you have a stable career, you know other like-minded people, you meet them through your job and things like that. So those were just kind of the people that I was exposed to. And ultimately, though I didn't date often, I will say that the few partners I've had have been extremely affluent people. But Trevor, of course, was quite an anomaly this way. Trevor never really held a job more than a year or two. He bounced from career to career. And I don't mean like job to job in the same field, like just bouncing from field to field all over the place, from welder to truck driver to hot tub repairman and everything in between kind of a guy, right? So I didn't really know that a man would be targeting a single mom. Like, I've got 5 kids. I've got financial responsibilities. I own my own home, which I worked for and paid for myself. Now, I didn't see it coming, but I will tell you, I know now that I was absolutely targeted for financial abuse by Trevor. Now, I think one of the first traps for me was Trevor's faked generosity. Of course, he was a cheap-ass motherfucker and a broke-ass from hell, but initially, when we started dating, we still worked together, and I knew I made more money than him, but his generosity was quite overwhelming, of course, as part of the love bombing phase. This dude didn't go out and buy me a pair of boots and a sweater. Hell no. He was showering me with gifts. He would come home with these giant bags of sweaters because where we worked it was quite damp, and he would say, oh, these will keep you warm, and I really thought he cared about me. But this initial display of generosity actually caused me to put down my defenses regarding money. Why would I think a guy who was really generous would be targeting me for money? Well, of course, we left that job. And of course, I didn't realize at the time that Trevor's mother pretty much paid for everything for him. She paid his rent. She ultimately bought his house. She pays all his utilities, property taxes, pays his child support, pays everything. And in addition to that, buys him like grocery store gift cards because, well, she doesn't want to give him money because he puts that in the gambling machine. But Trevor would, of course, pay for groceries most of the time with these cards that his mother would give him. And it was, definitely starting to look kind of weird to me. But throughout all of this, Trevor's telling me, oh, we're going to build such a good life together. We're going to build such a great future together. And my parents built a really great future together, and they had a joint bank account. Well, he kept chipping away at this, and well, sure as fuck, I end up opening a joint bank account with Trevor. Now, as I'm standing there in the bank, of course, the account's in his name. There's only one debit card. He's the only one with access to the debit card. I don't even know the fucking PIN number of the debit card, but this is a joint bank account with both of our money in it. That, of course, was a red flag. Throughout that, he is constantly using my debit card. Now, I do believe in the first year that we were with him, and I had fairly significant savings, for a single mom working a 9-to-5 job, I'd always had savings, but I started noticing like my bank account was going down. Thousands of dollars were being spent on the renovation of his house, the one his mother bought him, because of course he was referring to that as our house and I needed to contribute to that. And the other one was booze. On booze alone, after the first year, he had spent over $7,000 of my money on booze, not to mention what he spent of his own money or collective money that we both had. So I could, within the first year, definitely see that this was becoming a fucking money pit. Yeah, of course, I saw the red flags. I saw it all. And of course, as time's going on and I'm moving out and moving back in and all the fucking hoovering and all the bullshit, this fucking jackass now has me absolutely convinced in my deteriorated state that if only he had this new Ford truck, everything would be fine. This is the problem. And of course, I'm being a cheapskate because I won't put the fucking truck in my name because I have an excellent credit rating and he has a credit rating of 2. Well, fuck if I didn't get talked into buying the truck. So anyways, the truck was about $25,000. He slashed the seats in the truck. He broke dented the back of the truck, kept the truck like a fucking pig. And it's just a absolute loser from hell. But yes, ultimately, I end up buying this truck for Trevor in my name. I ultimately paid off about $10,000 of the $24,000 truck. Came to a realization a few months ago that I really didn't want this fucking truck anymore. And I sure as shit didn't want to pay off a truck that I never wanted in the first place and was for this douchebag. So at that point, I really had to sit down. I sat down with some good friends of mine. They came over, we sat down, we talked about this, and they said, you know what, Kim, basically you're fucked. You need to either pay off the truck, accept the truck with the slash seats and all. And though the seats were replaced, of course, they were downgraded. And the truck just gave me a bad vibe. And of course, he'd been in the truck, and I didn't want none of his evil demon shit on my fucking truck. So ultimately, I went back to the finance company, and I returned the truck, and now have a vehicle that I wanted. But for people who are asking, how do you get the narc to pay you back? Well, if you don't have everything documented, if you don't have everything in writing. Now, of course, I do have some recourse because I could clearly prove that I was at work and it would be his face, on an ATM machine camera that was there extracting my money on a regular basis. But really, you know what? It just comes down to you're fucked and you got to cut your losses. That's what it came down to for me. I would say over the 5 years, Trevor probably got me for around $30,000, $40,000, 10 on the truck alone. And, was I either going to continue to pay off the truck or cut my losses? I cut my losses and gave the truck back. Let that be a lesson to all of you. Now, if the narc has promised to pay for something that's in your name, holy fuck, are you in trouble? Now, money is a really, really big source of abuse. So I'm sorry, but I'm going to have to do this video in a couple of portions. This is part 1. I'm going to pick up with part 2 right away here.